Most kids, when they grew up, they had those stories saying, like, oh yeah, my dad and me did this together, or so on and so forth. I felt like I wasn't normal in a way.
Like growing up, she always worked, and even though my father helped her, she like always felt the need to still have two jobs and work, and she was never home, and she was never there to like help me with like girl things that I would need and stuff.
Father actually contacted us, and instead of wanting to talk to me, he instead talked to my mother. He didn't care for me, he didn't care for anything that was happening, but he just wanted her.
Growing up, it was only my mom, and I rarely even saw her because she needed to work a lot, and she left us with a babysitter that didn't really give us a lot of attention. She just left us until my mom came to pick us up, which kind of sucked.
My family was never usually home, and we never really went out to places, and other kids usually came up and like my friends told me that like, oh, they went to go watch a movie, and I was like, oh, cool, like my family doesn't do that or, you know, go out at all.
The first time I noticed my family was different than the others was when I was around 6. I realized that my father wasn't my father but my stepfather, and that my actual father was missing from the picture.
Especially by my dad that isn't with me. He used to call me a lot when I was little, but growing up he stopped calling. He stopped coming to my mom's apartment for us to have like a little day out. He didn't really celebrate my birthday anymore. He basically left.
I started losing my trust in them because they would fight a lot, and it would lead to just them yelling at each other and slamming doors and leaving, and me just there.
I guess some people didn't really notice because I tried to fake it during a certain amount of time, but there was a point where I couldn't really handle that anymore, which ended up me being quiet at times, and some people did notice, others didn't. He tries to be in it as much as he can, especially since he's in Mexico. So we text sometimes, but that's only if I have time, and I usually don't.
I guess my father wasn't there. He left before before I was born, so he wasn't there.
Other kids, they usually talked a lot about their parents while in school. Well, at times I couldn't really relate to anything they said because my dad wasn't really in the picture as much as I wanted him to be.
My dad, whatever, he also left at some point. And I guess I was closer to him than I ever was with my mom, and it kind of affected me when he left.
There was several points where I wanted to run away. Like I said, she never did anything, so I had to do something to save myself.
My older sister, she was actually, she was moving out with her boyfriend at the time, and I wanted to sneak out and leave with her and not stay with my parents.
I started shutting myself away from people, especially those around me, because I didn't want them to catch on my aura, my feelings, and everything that I was keeping to myself.
It made me feel like I was replaced. I felt like he didn't want me anymore.
There's a saying in my family, or just in general, that your father isn't the person who creates you, it's the one who raises you. And I consider him my actual dad because he was the one who raised me.